I'm Ms. Abear and one of the 6 counselors in the office that serve all our kiddos. And with me today is Mr. Troche. We are videotaping this session so that for students who are absent today, they can view the information they missed so that they can make good course selections for sophomore year. So our goal today is to help you start planning your sophomore year coursework. And today we're going to talk about all the tools that we have available for you to make good choices. We're going to be using a Google form to make course selections for next year. Everybody is getting a half sheet of paper. Did we have enough for everybody? Thank you. Thanks so much for passing that out. And it gives a brief overview of the steps that we're following to do registration for you for your sophomore year. So hopefully you're at Claremont High School. Your page should look like the screen here. You should see Claremont High School in the top left corner. Make sure you're not on the CUSD website. Thank you.
As we're going through this, please stay with us. I already see somebody with a course request form open. Don't work on it yet. I caught you. Because we're actually going to be working on this together, and I don't want you to make a mistake. There are ways to make mistakes on here that will actually really mess it up. So please just stay with us on this, okay?
All right, so your half sheet kind of gives an overview. Counselors are in English classes today to launch this. Tonight at 6 o'clock, there is a webinar for you and your parents to listen to. Well, we'll have even more explanation about certain things that are important to you for now and for later. So we hope you'll join us. And then this form that we're doing today and submitting today is editable, meaning you can go back to the form that we do today and amend or change your ideas, your electives, based on what you discover by talking to your family, talking to your teachers, talking to friends and siblings. This form will be open up until midnight on the 21st. And then we will see all of our current freshmen through PE classes in March. So we'll go over your requests together in March and make sure it's consistent. Yes, question. Then okay. Then if you're in team sports PE, we'll see you in a different way. Great question. Is that your question over there too? Okay. All right. So on the bottom here are some QR codes. We're going to navigate today via the website, but if you ever needed help, the QR code for the actual course selection website that we're going to in a minute is the first QR code. The webinar for tonight is here, so you can use this or the link on the website. The course selection QR code is here. And if you're interested in more MYP information, the QR code is the 4th one. All right, so hopefully we are all here. So if we could all together go to the Counseling and Career Department, this tab over here, the 2 people talking at 2 different desks, if you would touch that. And this takes you to CHS Counseling Department. Are we there? Okay, that's all my 4.5-year-old granddaughter asks me is, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Okay.
Which one was it?
The Career and Counseling Department. I think you're on the CUSD website. Claremont High School website. It should have a wolf in the top left corner. Are we all here? Okay. All right. So you're going to see here the counseling department. Just a quick reminder, counselors at CHS serve kids by your last name. So if your last name is at the beginning of the alphabet, A through CHOI, your counselor is with me, Mr. Troche. And all the counselors are listed here. So for the purposes of our next step, we just want you to know that the CHS Counseling Department is here to support you. We have a lot of tools and resources on the website. Our next step is to click on where it says course selection for 25-26 and tap where it says click here to start. So You can go ahead and do that. And this takes you to the next piece of information that'll be really useful, which is the course selection site. And again, you can get to the same place by using the QR code, the first QR code. All right, so just as a reminder, we're in classes today, webinar tonight. You have up until the 21st of February, a week and a day to amend your choices, think about your choices, and finalize your choices by the 21st. You're not just doing it today. We want you to be thoughtful about this and kind of look at the big picture. And then once you submit your form, the final form by the 21st, that form will be printed out, and that's what your counselor and you will review in March when we see you. And again, we're going to see you through freshman PE or call you out of class if you are in team sports. So looking at the course selection calendar here, just know that we're very busy. We're seeing 5 grade levels. At this time, we're seeing our seniors, our juniors, our sophomores, our freshmen, and then we're going to go see the 8th graders at El Roble. So our calendar is here, and you can see where your meetings are coming up. So next, you're going to go to, again, course selection for 25-26, and you're going to select your grad year for more information. What year are you guys graduating? Yeah, that's right. Does that feel like a really long ways? It'll come here really soon. Go ahead and click, please, your class year, class of 2028. And you are now called sophomores for this purpose, and that's why it says sophomores here today. You are going to be sophomores. Questions? Are we all here? Yes? Okay, yeah, perfect. All right. So there's some tools that we want you to be aware of. Tonight's webinar link is here. And again, the QR code is here. The webinar slides are going to be here. The webinar recording will be there tomorrow. The course selection form is something we're going to go over in just a second. Here are some reminders about some of the tools that we have. The grad requirements, what it takes to get into four-year colleges is listed here. The course description book, it's a very dense document talking about course descriptions and includes things like prerequisites. The electives catalog we'll go over today. And then there's also information on middle years program if you want more of that. All right, so next, if you would please go to the course selection form and tap that. And it will take you, don't worry. All right, it'll take you to this, which is your course contract form. How many of you remember doing this last year at El Roble? Okay, good. And just like last year, very familiar in terms of the steps and the process. And again, we're going to show you how you can edit and go back and forth as many times as you need to get what you want for next year. All right. The first question is asking you to provide your email address. We encourage you to report the email address that you read, that you check. I'm thinking most of you would check your student email because it's linked to Canvas, but please provide the email that you check, student email or personal email. Reason we want to have your email is in case there's a question about scheduling in the months to come, usually in August when counselors are working to prepare schedules. We might have a question, we might email you, or we might notify you, hey, this class is going to be only this period, or it conflicts with something else. Are we good? Has everybody put in their email? Failure to finish any piece of these questions, any mandatory questions have the red star by it. If you don't fill it in, the form won't work to advance to the next question or the next page. So make sure you fulfill everything. There are some tools here, course selection resources that, again, we're providing. We anticipate that you're going to have questions. How do I get into course X? Those resources can give you more information. Prerequisites can be found here. You can look at that as well. You're having conversations with friends and family. You can always look that up. If you have an IEP, just know that your case carrier does go over the materials for your registration. And next, we want you to provide your ID number. That's your school ID number. For most of you, it starts with 15. It's not this number. That was my made-up number because I'm not a student. So please provide your student ID number. You can see it on Minga. You can see your student ID number on Student Connect. Sorry, technical difficulty here.
Please make sure that your ID number is correct here, because if it is incorrect, it will not transfer into our system. So make sure your ID number is correct here.
There it is. Thanks. All right. Student ID number is done. Yes. We're going to get to that.
Getting ahead of us. Guys, stick with us so we'll answer most of these questions. Just stick with us and follow our pacing.
All right, so the ID number is complete. Next, I know this seems really obvious, but please make sure where it says last name, you put your last name. If you inverse it, your first and last name, and you put Andrews for your last name when your first name is Andrew, you're going to get in the wrong counselor's information, and it's going to really mess up the system. So please, last name and then your first name. All right. Next, we're asking you to provide a phone number. We want your phone number. Why? If there's a conflict with your schedule, or there's a problem with your schedule, or clarification your counselor needs in the summer to prepare your schedule, give us a number we can reach you at. Okay? So please provide a phone number for you. Are we good? Yeah.
Can I use my phone to check my phone number?
Yes. Thank you. All right. Are we ready to move on? Yes. Terrific. Okay, next we want to know if you have an IEP, an individualized education plan, or a 504 plan. You would know if you have an IEP or a 504 plan, you've had meetings, you've got a case carrier, you've met with Ms. Diaz. If these two terms mean nothing to you, please mark none. If there's an error in that, we can catch it, but we do want to be aware if you have an IEP or a 504 plan, please. Okay, we're almost there, 7th inning stretch. Your counselor wants to know what you want to do after high school is over. We want to help you get to that spot. If you are thinking about four-year college, you're thinking about sports in college, you're thinking maybe even IB diploma, junior year, senior year, we'd like to know that so we can guide discussions about what your sophomore year courses should look like so you can get to where you want to go. If you're thinking about going to a 2-year college after graduation, mark it. You're thinking military or a career, you got something in mind, mark it. It's a discussion point to help your counselor try to help you through high school. So please mark as many of the boxes that apply to you. And if you're done, we'll move on to giving us information about if you're active in sports. Are we good with the boxes? Yeah. Okay. Next, tell us if you're doing sports at CHS in our 3 seasons. So we have fall sports, and you'll see a drop-down menu here listing all the fall sports. So if you're interested in playing any of these sports, let us know. I'm going to say cross country today. And then also let us know if you're interested in any winter sports. And you might be surprised to learn that basketball, for example, is considered a winter sport, even though they start competition in November. And then also indicate any spring sports. I put here, I want to swim. But indicate what's true for you. This becomes really important in a few more slides down the road when we talk about PE for sophomore year. But first, we want to know if you're a student athlete, because you know that student athletes have access to period 6, athletic PE, we call it team sports, for this year and next year. Are we good here? Any questions? Okay. We also want to know if you participated in team sports this year. So indicate yes or no. This is not going to kick you out. It's just information. And then let us know if you are continuing with MYP or wish to start MYP. All right. Next, please let us know the start time for next year. Do you want to start school at 7:25 or do you want to start school at 8:30? Yes.
Is it possible to take like a world language, like history, and elective, and like start school at like 8:30? Because I know that
You're going to have 6 classes, so an 8:30 start means a 3:30 end, and you can take 6 classes, and we'll talk about specific things in just a few minutes. But right now, tell us your start time. It is possible also to have 7 classes next year, but only if you're willing to start school at 7:25 and end at 3:30. Question.
if you're not sure what, like, if you're not sure about this right now, can you like just choose one?
Choose one, and well, we'll show you an example at near the end how to change it if you need to. Absolutely, yeah.
If I'm taking the 0 through 6, what do I mark down?
You're going to do 7:25, and we'll show you in a little bit where you can mark that you want to have a 0 through 6. Okay. The typical is 6 classes. It's atypical to do 7, but you can. All right. Okay, we're doing great. We're finally getting to choose a class for next year. So everybody is going to take world history next year. Whether or not you're an MYP student, everybody's going to be in MYP world history. The district is retitling some courses. Did you have a question?
Yeah. So about history, how many years can you take in history? Like AP, I mean IB?
So world history is a requirement for graduation. It's a college admission requirement. You'll have 3 years of history between 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. 11th grade, it's U.S. history or IB history or AP US, and in 12th grade, government econ or the AP or IB versions of it. Yeah, great question. But you're starting your first of 3 years of social science next year. So everybody, it should be easy. Mark world history. And then the next easy one is everybody's going to be in sophomore English. So please fill that button, but you do need to fill it. Yeah.
I heard that for world history and sophomore English, there's an option to take an honors version of those two.
No longer at Claremont High School. No, we don't have honors. If you have an older sibling, they may have had honors here, but we don't offer honors for next year, world history or English. All right. Yes.
Why is that?
It was a decision made, gosh, 4 years ago, I think, Mr. Glavin. Yeah, it was. They moved away from the honors English and honors world history. The district is very much committed to the MYP philosophy, and they believe that the MYP integration is giving the enrichment needed. Next, we get to choose math for next year. So math is, there's a lot of branches in math in our CHS math tree. If you're currently in readiness this year, you'll be choosing 1A for next year. If you're currently in 1A this year, you'd be choosing 1B next year. If you're currently in integrated math 1 and doing well, you'd be selecting integrated math 2 for next year. Are we all together so far? Okay. If you're currently in math 2 and you are getting A's and you love math and you just wish you could go faster, you've got a treat for next year. Kids in 2, integrated 2, doing really well. Think about taking Enhanced 3 AP Pre-Calc. This is a very rigorous course because you do all of integrated 3 in one semester and you do all of AP Pre-Calculus in another semester. Normally, these are single year courses. In Math 3 is a single year normally, AP Pre-Calc is a single year, but for kids who love and enjoy math, You can really accelerate 2 full years in 1 school year if you are really strong in integrated math 2. If you're in 2 right now, but you don't love math and you don't need to accelerate, please select integrated math 3. Yes.
If you're doing really well in integrated math 1, would you choose 2, 3 for next year?
Good question. No, the 2-3 is for students who are in 1-2. So if you're currently in 1-2, please select integrated 2-3. Where are we? Yeah. So if you're in 1-2 now, you would do 2-3 next year. If you're struggling in 1-2, let your counselor know. And if you're in 2-3 right now, your choice for next year would be AP Pre-Calculus. And if you're currently in Math 3, we would suggest AP Pre-Calculus. Yeah.
If you're in 1-2 right now and you're doing really well and you want to, can you go to advanced?
If you're in 1-2 is the question, can you somehow get into Enhanced 3 AP Pre-Calc? You can, but you must do summer school for the second part of Integrated 2 that you're missing. Yeah, and we'll talk about summer school later. Yeah. No, you can't jump. You can't jump from 1 year to the next. Integrated. Uh-huh. No, 1-2 goes to 2-3. You can. Go ahead.
Integrated math 1-2 is the whole year of 1 and the first half of 2. You have to take the second half of 2, which is what you do in 2-3. So it's not 2 years in 1, it's 1.5 years and 1.5 years. You have to have both semesters of integrated math 2. The only way to do that is do 1-2 and then 2-3. There are some students who will take integrated math 2 semester 2 over the summer. I don't know yet if that's being offered because summer school hasn't been published yet. There is that possibility. For now, you would have to select integrated math 2-3 because that's the next course you would go into. There is a place at the end to indicate that you might be interested in doing that. But since summer school hasn't been published yet, we want you selecting 2-3 here. Okay?
Would you be able to, like, if another school was offering the other half of 2, would you be?
We would have to look at it because our school does integrated math. Other schools do the more traditional Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2. So that would be a discussion with your counselor at a later time. Again, our summer school information is not yet posted. We anticipate having certain classes, but nothing is for sure yet. Other questions on math? Is anybody in a higher math than AP Pre-Calculus? Then you would choose AP Calc AB? Question?
Is there any way I could go to 2 or I have to go to 1?
1B, but talk to your teacher, Mr. Casas. Yeah, you may want to talk to your teacher, but in all likelihood, 1B is best for you. But in the meantime, the next few days, do talk to your math teachers. For some of you who have a choice, like to go into Enhanced 3 as discussed, talk to your math teachers. They know you best this year, right? They've seen you now for 40 weeks of school. So, not 40 weeks, excuse me, 22 weeks of school. Yeah. To graduate from high school, the requirement is completion of integrated math 1 and 1 more year. Colleges want to see a minimum completion of math 3, but depending on majors and careers, you're encouraged to do more than that. Do more than the minimum to increase your options. Question?
What was the next math, like, just after, like, the normal freshman math?
Well, freshmen can have a variety. What math are you thinking about? What math are you in?
I don't know what, like, math is, but it's, like, this kind of stuff.
Okay. Integrated 2, maybe?
So the next one's 2?
I'm not sure. We'll cover that with you later.
With your math class, if you're not sure which math class you're in, ask your teachers. So for now, you're going to select which one you think you're in, and that's fine. We will actually edit it. You can actually edit it later.
Yeah.
But you can always talk with your teachers and ask them. And teachers are a great resource. Guys, back in. Teachers are a great resource to get information about what classes you should be taking next year. Okay?
Math question?
If I want to enroll in summer school math, how would I do that?
Our summer school is not yet launched, and most other schools have not yet announced their summer school. We'll talk about summer school math options when we meet with you as they become available. But right now, We want you to choose math based on where you're at. So you're in math 2, making choices for next year based on that. And we can talk later when we have more information about other math options. Question? Summer school, again, not finalized. Our math classes would be in person, not online.
Could I go to a different school?
Okay. But,
Would I go to a different school, but like take a different school?
we're going to have to talk about that slightly differently. We need to get through this piece first. Yeah. Because of the summer school piece being unknown, we can't conjecture, we can't speculate what might happen. All right. Math, do you understand where you should be selecting? Bless you. Yeah? Okay. All right. So next, you're going to be in science next year. The science graduation requirement is to complete a year of life science, such as bio, and a year of physical science, which can be fulfilled by physical science or chemistry class. If you're 4-year college bound, you definitely should be doing 2 years of science. We encourage more. Certain careers like engineering, natural sciences, definitely encourage you to take a lot more science. If your 3 choices here are listed. If you're currently in biology and really struggling, choose physical science for next year. If you're currently in biology this year, we want you to select chemistry next year. If you're thinking, oh, I really want to do chemistry over the summer, my brother or sister did that, so I can advance, we'll help you do that. But right now, our summer school information is not here yet. So indicate the science course that you're thinking about next, chemistry, for example, here in this situation. And then we'll help you later on when we meet with you in March, upgrade that science. Does that answer your question?
I think so. It's just like my science class is not on.
Correct. Yeah, there'll be a spot. Yeah, select chemistry for right now, and we'll get to that as we near the form. Question?
What's your physical science?
If you're in physical science and you're doing well, biology.
I have a question. So, if you don't take PE over the summer, do you have to have a 0 through 6 year?
We're going to cover that in just a minute, I promise you. But good question. And let's make sure we answer that as we get closer to it. Any questions on science? Are we ready to move on to another subject area? Yeah.
Does that mean you take AP physics or AP bio?
If you take chemistry somewhere this summer, you can open the door to other sciences like marine bio, anatomy, AP sciences.
And if you don't want to take those, can you just not have
Not a good idea to sit out of science the rest of your high school career, and staying out of science sophomore year would be a conversation with your counselor. So for now, let's choose a science for next year. But staying out of science, 10th grade, 11th grade year, not recommended for most students. Okay. Science? Okay.
If I take physical science, do I have to take chemistry?
You do not have to take chemistry for the graduation requirement, but chemistry does fulfill the physical science requirement for 4-year college. Physical science does not meet the college admission science requirement. So one thing to keep in mind is that that's why those goals at the beginning of the form we stress. Let us know if you're interested in 4-year college, or you're interested in going directly to work, or a 2-year college to begin, because it depends on those goals require certain actions from you, and we need to help you get there. So if you're 4-year college bound, you will need to take chemistry or physics to fulfill the science requirement for 4-year college admission. But for selecting next year, please choose among the 3 selections here. If it's not listed here, and we get that for some of you, we're not showing that, we will have a space for that in the form, and we'll have space for that when we meet with you in March. All right, we're going to move on now to world language. How many of you are in world language this year? Can I raise your hands? Okay, great. For those of you that are in a world language, is it going good? Good? Okay. If you're in a first year world language and it's going good, please choose the second year world language. To graduate from high school, the requirement is either a year of world language or a art year or a year of career technical education, like an ROP class. Our ROP classes here that you may hear about would be engineering drawing, stage tech, mental behavioral health, audio production. Um, um, so those are some of the examples. If you're thinking for your college admission, then you definitely need to have a minimum of 2 years of the same world language. 3 years is better, and some of you may even want 4. If you're thinking IB diploma by your junior year, a very special program, very different than MYP, you'll need to think about having you'll be having more world language because the IB diploma requires that. If you're not in a world language this year, you can start. So select French 1 or German 1 or Spanish 1. If you're currently in Heritage Speakers 1 and you're doing well, we invite you to take Heritage Speakers 2. If you have an IEP, and you would know that, you can start a world language, or you may want to think about, talk with your teachers about the Spanish A, which is only for students with an IEP. If anybody's in a second year of world language this year and you want to go on, please choose the third year, and the third year offers you an honors option or a non-honors third year language. Question?
I know like Spanish 2 isn't there's gonna be a summer school for that, but could you like study it independently and then like test out Spanish 2?
Depends, probably not. That's a conversation with your counselor and your Spanish teacher first. Yeah, because some of you may have more Spanish knowledge because of other experiences. Yeah.
What about like a visual?
It is for the UCs and the Cal States. So visual music or performing arts is a requirement for admission to UCs and Cal States. Questions on world language. You also have the option not to take a world language in your sophomore year. And if I chose that option, I initially said I was going to do French, but if I chose not to do a world language next year, it would take me to an electives list to choose in lieu of world language. But because we believe that as sophomores, we want you to encourage exploration of a world language. It's a really cool thing. My example had world language, so let me go back to that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'm curious do I have to pick 2 or like 10 like French one? Or is like the same?
Oh, good question. So if you're in a language class this year and it just hasn't really been the experience you wanted, you can start a new language next year and you go to year 1 of French or German. So you can like do a do-over next year with the new language, but know that colleges want to see 2 years of the same world language. Question?
So if UCs want you to go and have like 3 years of the same language, or 3 years of any language, would a combination of 1 year of Spanish and 2 years of French?
No, that does not constitute the 3 years of the same world language.
So if you choose not to take a world language and you select that last option, I do not wish to take a world language in sophomore year, and you click next, it's going to take you to a separate part of the form that you would not normally see, where it will ask you to pick additional elective options. So that's where that's going to pull you into. We're going to go ahead and pick a world language and move on to the next section to make sure we get through. I promise you we'll have time for questions at the end. Okay, so let's click next.
All right, so next is, it takes you to the PE question. So PE, I know this is an important thing for your class. As freshmen, most of you will be finishing 10 credits of PE by June. To graduate from high school, you must have 20 PE credits, and next year, as sophomores, you're expected to finish your PE credits. So if you have 10 in June, we have to enroll you in PE as sophomores, unless you finish your PE, all 20 credits of PE, by the beginning of sophomore year. There are some of you that may have more than 10 credits by June of this year because you either did summer school PE last year, so you might be in a different position, but PE is a enrollment requirement for sophomore year, okay? So how do we fit in PE for our sophomores? We're going to explain that right now. So you can do 7 classes next year as a sophomore to fit in PE, to finish your PE requirement as sophomore year and still keep maybe your theater class and your world language class. We can give you 7 classes to make that happen. You can come to summer school because we will offer summer school PE. It'll be an online PE experience with physical activity and considerable amount of writing. I know, but you won't be sweating in July and June. Or you can have PE in the day, or those of you who are athletes in this classroom, which we talked about at the beginning, if you're an athlete, we're going to put you ideally in team sports, which is run at period 6, so as to not compromise your learning in the classroom for your early release and conditioning. Question?
Which sports have team sports?
All sports. All sports do. Yes. Question?
Would you be able to do PE like your second year of PE, junior or senior year?
No, it must be done by end of sophomore year. And if you're hoping to not have PE in your schedule because you want more space for an elective, do PE in the summer, or PE is your 7th period class. Not 7th period, but you have 7 classes. Yeah. All right, so PE, you have choices. If you're an athlete, remember we talked about the fall, winter, and spring sports at the beginning? If you're an athlete in any of those seasons, please mark team sports. That's for you, okay? Some of you in this room may already be in team sports. It's a period 6 class at CHS. Next year, your PE classes will be different than freshman PE is this year. Next year, you can choose bodybuilding, where you do conditioning, self-pace, or badminton, volleyball, or dance. All of these classes are offered in the school year, and all of these give you those 10 PE credits you need to finish up their PE requirements. Next, we want you to, I promise we'll get to your questions, your choices for PE. You will either say, I plan to complete PE in my sophomore year and not have an extra elective, right? So you can choose that. And I've chosen bodybuilding for me is my preference. Or, Mark, I plan to complete physical education this summer. And we'll give you summer school PE information when we have our summer school registration ready. Or you want to do PE during your sophomore year as an online class. So just like fitness PE in the summer is online, where it's conditioning, physical activity, and writing, you can do fitness PE in sophomore year as an online class. So you come to school, periods 1 through 6, and then you have your online PE. Okay, so you don't sweat at school, maybe is one way to look at it. Or 7 periods next year to squeeze in the needed PE. Question over there, I think your hand's been up. Yeah, you, in the black and purple. It's you, hon. Oh, okay. Oh, your hand was up. That's how I was mentioning you.
Okay, now I'm confused. Okay, if you're a student athlete and you want to take bodybuilding, you would do both.
Yes, you can. You can. Okay. That could be one of your electives.
Okay, but if you're a student athlete, can you get away with 6 periods in a day and not have to?
It's possible if you're not taking a world language, yeah. For most of you, that's
so if you're an athlete, you picked team sports here under PE, you should then be picking, if you don't want to do it outside of school, you don't want an extra elective, it's going to be this one. If you want to have an elective in the day, it's going to be this one. Does that make sense? Yeah. I know this is confusing. This is always the confusing part for every sophomore, okay? So that's going to be what you're picking as one of those two as an athlete, Does that make sense? If you're in team sports. Okay, we can answer it. I can look at your individual situation a little later. We can talk.
Yeah.
Question?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Is the pretty sure the requirement is just
The graduation requirement, you can do 1 year of a career technical education class in high school. You can do more though, but the minimum to graduate is that.
Okay, back to PE questions. You had a question.
Can you take like only one semester of like a certain PE course?
Can you take only one semester of a PE course? Yes, you can. As a sophomore, you're not going to have a whole lot of semester-long courses. But for example, if you had, guys, pause for a second, okay? For example, if you had only one semester left to complete, let's say you did one semester in summer school, then yeah, you could actually do like 7 periods one semester, 6 periods another. Counselor can help you work that out. Okay? Question here, I saw.
I'm a team sports, but it's for fall, winter, and spring. So does that mean that if I am team sport as my PE, I can't have an elective?
So you can have elective if you want to take 7 periods in that situation. Yes. Yep. Question?
How would you get into like sports?
How would you get into sports?
Yeah.
So you want to try out. There's information on the CHS website, ClaremontAthletics.com, where you can find that information. You can contact the coaches. The emails are on the athletics website. So perfect question. Thank you.
There was a question back here.
if I did team sports and PE at the same time this year, would I be done have to credits?
If you passed, yes.
You have 20 credits. And when you meet with us, we can verify that for you.
Yeah.
What's the one that
One second. I'll come to you in a second.
What's the benefit of taking 7 periods and
Benefits of taking 7 periods in an elective next year. Couple benefits. If you're into an elective like band, music, theater, choir, something like that, that you want to be in all 4 years, that's where a lot of students will do that.
There's no like college benefits.
You get an additional academic elective. Yeah, there is a slight
Yeah.
benefit to that too.
And you get to explore so many things. It's, yeah, question.
I already took PEs last summer, so would I just put I'll take it this summer?
Yes.
Yes, that would work for you. More PE questions? Okay.
You said that if I'm in a team sport, but I want to do volleyball, that'd be my elective.
So you're in a team sport, you're not taking a world language. Okay, then you don't have space for it, unless you want to do 7 classes, in which case you'll tell us 7 classes so you can have your elective and your PE and your world language.
Miss Xavier, let's jump on. We're
Yeah.
running short on time.
Okay.
One more question for team sports. So is team sports going to be like
No, team sports is always going to be a period 6 slot in the schedule.
and I don't have to take it all 4 years to get it.
No, you don't. You just need it for 2 years. Well, team sports gives 10 credits per year. So if you did freshman PE this year, 1 year of team sports and you're done.
Okay, so
Okay.
back in, guys, we're going to go ahead and select that we want 7 periods, which is going to force us to pick electives. If you pick that you're going to take PE during the day, you won't see the screen. That's perfectly fine. Just pause and wait for us. We'll get back to that. So now you're looking at selecting electives. And you have 3 different choices that you need to fill out. You have a primary and 2 alternates. Your primary elective, that's the one you really, really want. That's the one, hey, I want to get this elective. This is my first choice. Your alternate electives are the ones that you're okay taking. Okay. Now, some of you are in electives that you auditioned for, that you interviewed for. Things like musical theater, choir, band, Wolf Packet. These are classes that you've spent some time and you invested in, especially if you're in it in your freshman year. We as counselors will prioritize that for you to try and make sure you get those electives. As sophomores, I think it's very rare that you don't get your audition electives. It's very rare that that does not happen for you, but it could potentially happen. But most of the time, you get that priority elective. Does that make sense? We also would include a second year of an ROP course in that priority. So if you're in stage tech, audio production, mental behavioral health, sports medicine, any one of those ROP courses, if you want to take the second year, we will actually prioritize that in your electives, because if you complete it, you get that extra stole. Does that make sense? Okay.
When it comes to electives, I promise I'll answer your question. Please make sure you give us 3 alternatives, okay? We know that your first choice, this is your primary elective, this is your number 1 choice elective. but we want you to provide us with a second alternate and a third alternate so that we can try to give you the classes that work within your schedule. So again, we're asking for 3 choices here for your electives. First runner-up, second, and third. Okay? Question back there. No, no. Fitness PE is offline. It's like off the schedule class. All right, so please make sure you have 3 different unique choices for your electives because we need to show you how to go back to this, okay? So let's go ahead and hit next. You're going to be able to go back to this as many times as you want, but we need to show you how to use this form to make those edits or corrections. We're almost there. This is the spot in your form that you can let us know, hey, I want to do chemistry this summer. I want to get ahead here. I want to do this. I want to have 7 classes. Let us know what your needs are here, and it's a talking point when you meet with your counselor in March. Go over this form with your parents. Talk to your teachers also. But we do want you to understand that by submitting today, and we're all going to hit submit right now. We should all be ready to do that. So please go ahead and submit. Don't worry. Nothing is going to be etched in stone. We're going to show you exactly how to go back in here and change the form. So did you all, thank you, I see that. So we're going to go back to CHS and the course selection form. Let's say you talk to your parents and like, oh no, you cannot start school at 7:25. We cannot bring you and your sibling at school at 7:25 and you need to correct that. No problem. You're going to come back to the course selection form like we did before, or you're going to use this QR code. It's going to say you've already responded. That's okay. You're going to edit your form. How many days do you have? Until when can you edit this form? Exactly. So you have time to edit and amend your choices. So I had said I wanted to start school at, let me double check. Oh, I did say school at 7:25, but now I do want to start school at 7:25. So I'm going to go back to 7:25. And have I made my final choice? Is it submitted? No, it's not. So I'm going to have to go all the way through the form, hitting next until I get to that submit button. Almost there. And now by hitting submit, I have finalized my change in start time. Okay. This course request form can do this unlimited times through the 21st. When summer school information is available, we're going to share it with you. We will have it by the time we see you in March. We want to make sure that you make good choices. So we want to stress talking to your families, talking to your teachers, your world language teacher, your math teacher, electives, taking a look at the electives catalog too, which is on the course selection form. It lists some of the electives you have so many choices for next year so that you can learn more. I think we have about 4 minutes left.